Welcome, welcome. Take a little moment to allow yourself to think simply about what is. What is going on in your subjective journey through this strange existence? What matters to you? What information feels pertinent, relevant to your life force? Close your eyes if you can, not if you're driving or cycling or at work. But other than that, if you're safely seated somewhere or perhaps lying down, close your eyes, breathe gently, and allow yourself to think, to drift off into the places where nobody else can get to, your inner mind. And I'm going to ask you simply, what is? What is this place? What is important? What is going on? Now, breathe gently, and whether you've got your eyes closed or not, allow your inner mind to bring to the fore of your conscious experience, your awareness, whatever imagery it may, whatever symbology, whatever signs, whatever words, whatever memories, whatever hopes, aspirations, dreams, feelings. It does. Simply, when you direct the question internally into yourself, what is? What is this place? What is going on? What is it you should be doing? Meditate simply, internally asking yourself, what is? Repeat after me. What is? Feel yourself with every utterance going to a deeper part of your mind that may perhaps provide an answer you are seeking. What is? What is? What is? What is? What is? What feelings, what symbols, what imagery are floating into your conscious awareness as you simply ask, what is? What is? What is? What is? Allow yourself to dance with whatever symbols, memories, imagery pop into your mind's eye. They may seem abstract. They may seem bizarre. You may not know quite what to do with them. They may frighten you, but don't fear. You are okay. These are but figments of your imagination. These are not in any way materially real. They are things for you to either gain significance from, gain inspiration from, or to overcome as you go onwards in your subjective journey through this strange existence. So do not worry, do not fear. Whatever is in your mind's eye cannot harm you. You are the master of your internal world. You are the master of your internal world. Go in there, inwards, and see what you can find that may help you as you labor onwards in this strange existence outside of your mind. Gain inspiration, gain insight, dance with the symbols, hold them, turn them this way and that, look at them from different directions. What words, what memories are coming into your mind? Step into them, step into those memories, and play with them. If they upset you, perhaps you can, as you are now, be the superhero and change the memories, change the very fabric of your past memories by going to them as you are now in your older form, your wiser form, and doing what should have been done at the time to rectify the mistakes you made or others made towards you. And dance a little. Build back better. Craft your internal world so that it favors you. Fix it, brick by brick. Pour in solid foundations where perhaps there were none. And come back to the material world. Stronger than ever. So yes, meditate, asking yourself what is. I will in a moment be saying that very phrase, and you can repeat it after me if you like, either in your head or out loud in a gentle dulcet tone. You may be receiving from your inner self. And when you feel the need, when you feel the strongest desire, when you can no longer hold back, click on the link in the live chat and talk to us all about what insight you may have gotten from this experimental meditation, this deep dive within. Yes. Hello, welcome again to the Finding Gnosis show. We already have a visitor here, and that is Mr. Noodles himself, who I believe was on camera briefly and looking very dapper. Well turned out, a well-heeled fellow. Yes, how are you, Mr. Noodles? Did you participate in that meditation? What did you take a moment to think about what is?
Yeah, it was making me anxious.
Really?
I think it was the music.
Okay, that's interesting. Well, it's interesting. It's okay to be anxious when you're in a safe place. Maybe you should have rolled with it. You didn't go any deeper than that. You just felt anxious. You didn't see anything.
Well, my mind's
Imagine anything.
preoccupied.
Yes, 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 yes. You're driving, are you?
Yeah.
Oh, be careful. Be careful. So, what is it you'd like to say as you pull over and take the safe approach of not driving as you talk?
Well, I'm not holding the phone.
Okay, okay. All right, brother. We'll allow you this time. So, what is going on? What would you like to say?
Um, I don't know. I just kind of came to shoot the breeze, hang out, uh, see how you're doing. Um, uh, I was thinking about how, like, I struggle with like negative thought patterns and stuff, and like, I'm in therapy or whatever, but I was thinking like, damn, like I wonder if I'm gonna be having like negative thought patterns right as I die, when I die. Like what I wonder, like, yeah, if I die, if I'm gonna be like thinking the same like negative thoughts that I fear that I will be thinking when I die.
Yes, I have and spoken about this previously on the channel, and I was somewhat inspired. I don't know if you heard me talking about this. I saw a picture a few years back, maybe about 2020, of some Italian nun. Now, she did happen to be a
I
beautiful
didn't hear
looking
what you
woman.
just said.
But I
I I, I
I was thinking
I
about
got a
this a few
call, but
years ago. Can you hear me now?
yeah.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, but I actually have to
Can
hop
you hear
off
me now?
for a minute, but I will call you. I'll come back
Okay, well
on later.
we'll wait for you to come back. Yeah, and bring that subject up again if you want to, because it is a good subject. So anybody else there want to come on and talk about what it do? Feel free to come on and do that. We are talking simply about what is, and that's it. So be inspired, be free, and come on and have a chat if you want to. Yes, that's it, really. Just like that. Welcome, welcome. Take a little moment to allow yourself to think simply about what is. What is going on in your subjective journey through this strange existence? What matters to you? What information feels pertinent, relevant to your life force? Close your eyes if you can, not if you're driving or cycling or at work. But other than that, if you're safely seated somewhere or perhaps lying down, close your eyes, breathe gently, and allow yourself to think, to drift off into the places where nobody else can get to, your inner mind. And I'm going to ask you simply, what is? What is this place? What is important? What is going on? Now, breathe gently, and whether you've got your eyes closed or not. Allow your inner mind to bring to the fore of your conscious experience, your awareness, whatever imagery it may, whatever symbology, whatever signs, whatever words, whatever memories, whatever hopes, aspirations, dreams, feelings. It does. Simply when you direct the question internally into yourself, what is? What is this place? What is going on? What is it you should be doing? Meditate simply, internally asking yourself, what is? Repeat after me. What is? Feel yourself with every utterance going to a deeper part of your mind that may perhaps provide an answer you are seeking. What is? What is? What is? What is? What is? What feelings, what symbols, what imagery are floating into your conscious awareness as you simply ask, what is? What is? What is? What is? Allow yourself to dance with whatever symbols, memories, imagery pop into your mind's eye. They may seem abstract. They may seem bizarre. You may not know quite what to do with them. They may frighten you, but don't fear. You are okay. These are but figments of your imagination. These are not in any way materially real. They are things for you to either gain significance from, gain inspiration from, or to overcome as you go onwards in your subjective journey through this strange existence. So do not worry, do not fear. Whatever is in your mind's eye cannot harm you. You are the master of your internal world. You are the master of your internal world. Go in there, inwards, and see what you can find that may help you as you labor onwards in this strange existence outside of your mind. Gain inspiration, gain insight, dance with the symbols, hold them, turn them this way and that, look at them from different directions. What words, what memories are coming into your mind? Step into them. Step into those memories and play with them. If they upset you, perhaps you can, as you are now, be the superhero and change the memories, change the very fabric of your past memories. by going to them as you are now, in your older form, your wiser form, and doing what should have been done at the time to rectify the mistakes you made or others made towards you. And dance a little. Build back better. Craft your internal world so that it favors you. Fix it, brick by brick. Pour in solid foundations where perhaps there were none. And come back to the material world. Stronger than ever. So yes, meditate, asking yourself, what is I will, in a moment be saying that very phrase, and you can repeat it after me if you like, either in your head or out loud in a gentle, dulcet tone. You may be receiving from your inner self. And when you feel the need, when you feel the strongest desire, when you can no longer hold back, click on the link in the live chat and talk to us all about what insight you may have gotten from this experimental meditation, this deep dive within. This deep dive into what was, what is occurring underneath the bonnet, inside, deep within your inner self, your inner mind. So, folks, are you ready? Are you ready to go on perhaps the most important journey you have ever undertaken? Repeat after me, and let the symbology flow. Dance with it, and when you feel somehow inspired, come to the live stream. Click on the link and join the panel, and tell us all what it is you feel is important to share. Repeat after me, either inside your mind or out loud. What is? What is? What is? What is? What is? What is? With every utterance of what is, you feel yourself excavating deep into your inner mind, deep into your subconscious, chipping away another layer of the defenses, the shell that hides from your conscious awareness what really matters. We're mining for gold today, folks. So let us continue going deeper. What is? What is? What is? What is? If you're feeling shy, perhaps it's okay. If something is bursting into your mind's eye, if there is a prominent figure, a specter, or even an angel, share in the live chat what you are seeing, what you are experiencing. Let's see perhaps if we can have a communal experience here. I know you all have your eyes closed, but if anybody types something, I will read it out for you. And perhaps we can communally inspire each other. Perhaps we will find some kind of connection that, wasn't evident beforehand. Some kind of invisible web, a network that connects us all. Perhaps a shared meaning, a shared purpose, or a path forward into a future as yet unknown, but to be directed in good faith by the inspiration gathered from our journey within. What is? 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 You're going deeper. What is? Deeper into your mind's eye. What is? What is? What is? What is? Funneling down deep into your inner self. What is? What is? What is? Past all the fossilized remnants of your past trauma. What is? What is? What is? What is? And you're getting to layers. You're going to find layers of things that matter to you. What is? Inspiration, strong foundations to stand upon. What is? What is? What is? What is? You find yourself in a cavern of sorts, some kind of air pocket deep within, as you have excavated deep below the superficial surface, far into your inner self. And you find yourself in what appears to be a dark cave, cavern, a pocket of air. And you're tired because you've been excavating so long, so hard, asking what is, what is, what is. And even though it's dark and it scares you a little bit, you feel the need to rest. It's okay, folks. It's okay. As I said already, this is all just a figment of your imagination. It's not real. Nobody else can see it. It's only in your mind. You're okay. You're sitting in the darkest of dark. A little air pocket, a cavern, deep below the superficial surface of your persona, your public-facing personality, deep below the surface of your conscious awareness, deep below all your recent experiences. And you're in the dark. It's completely dark. You can't see a thing. But you're okay. See? You're okay. There is no need to be afraid. There is no need to be afraid. You're in some of the darkest depths of your own inner mind. Something that perhaps torments you daily. Something that gives you anxiety. Something that makes you feel depressed, anxious, anguish, something that churns out all manner of thoughts that bring you here and there and leave you a nervous wreck. But here you are, within, deep within your mind, excavating into your inner self, in a dark, dark cavern deep within. And you're okay. You are okay. You're fine. You see, you are the boss here. This is your manor. This is your estate. And there's nobody else here. It's only you. So all your fears, all your anxieties, when you're in this place deep inside your inner self, none of it makes any sense. Because it's only you. Nobody else can get to you. Nothing is real. Only that which you give awareness to. Nothing is real. Only that which you choose to focus on. Nothing is real. Only that which you make so. So sit here in the dark. Do not be afraid. Sit in this dark depth of your inner self and close your eyes. You're okay. You're in a dark, dark cavern. A subterranean dark cavern deep below the surface of your superficial nature. You're in your inner self. And you're okay. You're perfectly fine. You're perfectly fine. This doesn't scare you at all. It's dark. You can't sense anything particularly. You can't hear anything in this dark chamber. There is nothing, only awareness. You are just sitting there in this dark chamber of your own making in your mind's eye. And you are just complete awareness of whatever it is that feels important to you. And I urge you, whatever pops into your mind, to craft it into your favor. If you are having traumatic memories, specters from the past popping in to scare you, to upset you, traumatize you, deal with those demons in your inner mind. Sit in the sanctity of your inner self and change the narrative. Memories are just figments of our imagination, just like this experience. Whatever it is that is bothering you in the moment, you can be the superhero that goes into that memory and changes it and does something that makes it stop. No longer are you the passive experiencer. You have been enlivened with agency, with the ability to interact with your memories, with your trauma, with your fears, anxieties, deep within your mind's eye. You have been enlivened. You have been given the gift of agency. Now, you can do whatever you want. You can fly away. You can do whatever you want inside your mind. Deal with the symbols, dance with them, build up resilience. and take from your journey inwards something that matters. Joseph, if you want to come on, Joseph says he is ready to come on. Please do click on the link in the live chat and visit us immediately. The link is in the live chat for whoever wants to come on here and share their experience. Share what is popping into the core of their conscious awareness as something that might be important going forwards for them, maybe for us all. Some insight, some, dare I say, spark of gnosis. The journey within, guys. The journey within is the only journey necessary when facing harsh experiences on the outside. You have to go within, dig deep, and find what is necessary. That is all there is to do. Click on the link, folks, and join the show. We are ready. We are ready to rise. We are ready to converse and talk about whatever it is we feel is important. I'm going to ask the question again. What is? Think about it. What is going on? What is it you should be doing? What is it we should all be doing? What is this place? And when you feel a burst of when you feel a burst of super inspiration, click on the link in the live chat and we will be here to talk to you. What is? 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 I'm going to take a moment to allow you to contemplate what is and what it is you should be doing. See the symbols, feel the feelings, get the message. Hello. I do hope you are remarkably well. We have a visitor tonight. Why
are you working tonight?
It is Miss Chickpea herself. Lady Chickpea is in the house. Welcome, Lady Chickpea.
Hello, dear.
Lady Chickpea, did you participate in that bit of fun? I hope
no, but
you did.
Got here.
That's okay. I'm simply asking what is, and just hoping to inspire folk to talk about something that may or may not be pertinent to what is going on. But at least we're trying to find out what is going on and what we should be doing. At least we're trying to find out what is. Chickpea, what is?
I've got no idea. Why are you working tonight? You only did last night.
Yes. I was intending to come on and do like an hour and a half. I thought that's not too bad. I can still get up early, so it's not too bad. Because I thought that would be a bit of fun doing what I just did, a little bit of a meditation. Some people seem to like it. QWERTY says, D&W, love you, brethren. Peace and love be with you. Love you too, QWERTY. Thank you for that. So anybody else wants to come on? We did have Noodles earlier. He was on here.
Oh, you best have. Well, I stayed away then.
but he had to go. He had to go, unfortunately. So there are spaces, guys. The show would be nothing without you, and nothing will become of nothing. So please make it something. And in actual fact, I beg of you, click on the link so we can get the show going. It's about 11 people here now watching, so welcome if you're new. We are just a friendly bunch of seekers, wanderers, thinkers, people who are trying to find out what is going on. And we talk about all manner of things here, from weird stuff. You might find some of it strange. Some people have esoteric beliefs. Some people believe in conspiracy theories. Some people have strange ideologies and philosophies you've probably never heard of. There's differences in opinion all everywhere and anywhere, but we try to keep it cordial. We try to keep it nice, and we try to not shout at each other. We try to be humble and fellow travelers as we move through this strange existence in hope of bettering it for ourselves and others, and finding something meaningful that matters. And whatever it is you'd like to talk about, this is an open panel. It's free. You can come on here and express yourself. Chickpea, would you like to invite anybody on in particular? Who would you like to talk to tonight?
I wasn't expected to be. I wasn't expecting to find you here. Even I was just looking for stuff about Nostradamus as usual. And
Always expect
your
the
stuff
unexpected, Chickpea.
you came up. Actually, you know what I'm worried about? I know you're not so worried. I'm worried about this digital ID thing. And I'm very worried about it. Because
It is extremely worrying.
I think this is just the precursor to what's coming. This is what I think. And I'm getting very worried about it because, I mean, like, to have your ID on a mobile phone, the thought of that absolutely terrifies me. And it's very easy for people to steal your mobile. So I can't see how it's going to be workable for any length of time. Which is probably when they'll bring the next
Right.
phase.
I mean, I imagine it needs like your eye or something. You know, you need facial recognition, or
Well, it'd be
I
on
don't
your
know. I
hand,
imagine
I
there's stringent
suspect.
security.
Because it will be on your.
Mm.
I reckon that. Well, you know me. I believe in the mark of the beast, so you know that, and I believe in it. I'm sitting here waiting for it, and I think this is the precursor. Well, you know, I believe in it.
So, what were you looking up Nostradamus for tonight?
Well, I was just read, looking through his stuff, what he had to say about October and November, December time, because I was watching a video about France and Paris, what's going on in Paris, and you have to see it to believe it. It's like some strange foreign land. And I've been watching stuff about Berlin now, and I lived in Berlin. Berlin used to be the most pristine city. You could have eaten off the streets in Germany years ago. Now it looks like an absolute rubbish tip. Unbelievable. Well, you know me, I believe in the rubbish and the revelation. I believe all that junk, the invasion of the 200 million and the mark of the beast. So it's all, in my eyes, it's coming true. And I'm rather scared. But most people don't believe it. I'm the only person I know that does believe it.
I'm just going to get a tasty beverage, but would you like to tell us what exactly?
You're going to sort off.
Would you like? No, Chickpea, it's fine. You said you're very scared, Chickpea. I'll literally only be a couple of minutes. Don't get anxious. So surely you could talk for 2 minutes about what. Talk for 2 minutes about what exactly it is you're scared of. That's all I want you to talk about. You talk about this mark of the beast. Tell us what you're afraid of. I'll be right back. It'll probably be less than a minute, actually.
Okay. Well, everybody, I'm one of those weirdos that believes in the mark of the beast. I believe the revelation, and I believe it, even though I'm not actually a Christian. To me, it's as clear as day, always has been, and now I see it coming at me. And it frightens me, plus it sickens me, because you know what gets me about this whole thing with the mark of the beast, and I think it will come about. Well, it will come about as far as I'm concerned. Is that most of us are just working class people, ordinary little proles, Master, we know we're just little slaves working for a master. And if you've got children, you can't just say, no, I don't agree, I'm not going to do it. So how do you feed your children then? So I don't have any children, so I don't have that problem. I'll just take my cats to the vet, get them euthanized, and I'll just sit on the streets and watch the party unfold. But I'm very worried about it. And no one else seems to see it. I'm the only person that sees it. Why is that? Is there any Bible readers here? Bible readers. And I would add, I don't go to church. I do pray occasionally, but I'm not a practicing Christian. Hello, somebody.
Okay.
Oh,
And
nobody's saying a word.
nobody's here. There's about 7 people watching, and there isn't much interaction. So do say hello if you are watching in the chat and stimulate us somewhat. We are hoping to be prodded into conversation.
But GW,
that's just the way.
What I don't understand is
get over it, Chickpea. We're on tonight.
What?
I know you can't understand it, but we're here.
What I don't understand is I'm not even a practicing Christian. I don't go to church, and I haven't been to church since I left school or anything. Why am the only person I know that believes this? I don't know one single person. Even though it's written as clear as day. It is written. Just so weird. It's only me. Well, of course, there's stuff on YouTube about it, but
do you talk about it in your day-to-day life with people when you go to the cafe? And
yes,
stuff?
I do talk about it occasionally.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. What do they say?
Well, you know me. I'm quoting now. You know me. I don't read the Bible, but a few of them are Christians. But I'm the only one that's actually read it. So they say they're Christians, but haven't even read the Bible. So I'm not quite sure how that adds up. It's weird. And I had one woman who actually works for the church. She's moved to Scotland now, lucky thing. And she just said to me when I was talking about it, I will just leave it in God's hands. And thought to myself, well, good luck with that, because it's God that's saying, if you have that mark, I will abandon you. Because that's what it says. And it scares me. It's probably because, I believe it. Because I believe that...
What is going to happen? What is going to happen? Tell us what is going to happen.
Well, basically, it says in the Bible, the first beast gave the second beast its power. And he forced everyone to bear a mark on their right hand or on their forehead. The number of the mark is 666. Well, there's 3 6s. That's a barcode. It's binary. And it's on everything we buy. And if you don't get yourself barcoded, you won't be able to buy anything. You won't be able to trade. So that means you're going to be out on the streets. But if you do get yourself chipped, God will forsake you. Basically, whatever that means. Maybe he's going to just forsake you or throw you into hell for eternity if there is a hell. It says in the Bible there's a hell. That's all it says. I don't know.
Why do you believe it? I mean, it just sounds like
I've believed it ever since I started seeing barcodes. But
why?
Everywhere.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know. That's why I'm asking. That's why I talk about it. Because why do I believe it, but why does no one else?
I failed to see how a barcode has anything to do with 666. But
because you haven't done
you need
binary,
to explain it better.
It's 6.
I know what binary is, ones and zeros, but I don't know why that is in any way.
Because the holding bars, the holding bars are 2 long lines. That's a 6. All the lines are all. Each line means this.
I'll have to look this up. I don't know what you're on about.
I've done binary. I did binary at school, and to
me, I know what binary is. I've done it as well, but I don't know why you think 666 has nothing to do with barcode.
Because those lines, that's number 6 in binary. Those 2 lines is 6 in binary. Yeah, there used to be stuff on the internet about it years and years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, there used to be stuff on the internet about it, explaining it quite clearly, and it's been taken down. It's really quite weird because I remember talking about it.
Okay, the idea that barcodes contain the number 666 is a conspiracy theory, not a fact. It
Well, yeah, that's
originated
what they're
because
saying. Yes, it used to be that it didn't used to say that online though, because that's been changed. That's the weird bit about it. That's the weird. Yes, I know. I happen to believe this nonsense. No, I wish somebody else did, but no one does. But I do believe that it will come about. I do believe it, and I'm scared. I'm worried about it. I am worried because I won't be getting myself done.
So the myth is, listen to this. I need to
Yeah.
break and debunk your delusion. Okay.
Yeah.
The 666 myth in relation to barcodes claims that the number 6 is encoded by a pattern of 2 bars and a space. And since every barcode has 3 such guard patterns, beginning, middle, and end, every barcode contains a hidden 666. That's the myth, okay?
Yes.
But the reality, Chickpea, please listen very carefully.
Mm.
The reality is, while the visual pattern for a 6 is similar to the guard bars, it's not the same thing. The number 6 is actually encoded as a specific 7-bit pattern, and the guard bars are a different, separate pattern that serves as a reference point for the scanner, and not in any way does it show 666. So you need to look this up, all right?
Yeah, I'll have
Do
to look
some
that
homework
up.
and stop worrying about the barcodes.
But look, yeah, because I don't have much to do. I've got nothing else to do except sit and worry about barcodes.
Yeah, I mean, I'll read this article again. It's from the BBC. Okay, the weird history of the barcode. Okay, let me see if I can find this. Barcodes have always upset people. Okay, it says here to a fanatical few, they are nothing short of evil. Oh, okay.
Oh, I want the fanatical few. Yeah.
No, they're not just helpful. They're helpful in logistics and expediting the checkout process. You know, why do you have to be so negative?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Because I believe it. Thing is, I don't know if funny says to you, and I remember years and years ago when I was still working, so it must be at least 20 years ago, there used to be different information online about the barcodes. And I can remember talking about it to people at work, and there was more different stuff said about it. They've taken it all down.
Guys in the chat,
when that
come on, please, and just help the show flow. Gaia, the link is in there. Please click on it.
Oh, come on, Gaia.
Gaia says reminds them of that Christian mom that thought the Monster Energy logo was a symbolic of the 666, and that the drink was satanic. Yeah.
You know, Gaia's got the same autoimmune disease as me.
Rheumatoid arthritis.
No, he's got Sjogren's syndrome. I've got RA and secondary Sjogren's syndrome. I've got the two combined. Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that.
That's all right. Don't worry about it.
What is the Sjogren's syndrome again? What does it do?
Sjogren's syndrome is it causes dry eyes. The main symptom is dry eyes and dry mouth. He's got it worse than me. Aches and pains and exhaustion. Terrible physical exhaustion.
Oh, no.
But he's got it and I've got it, but not as bad.
How did you find out? Was it a genetic test or something?
Yeah, my natural father had it. It shows up, an optician told me I had it because it shows up in glands in your eyes. It shows up as the tear glands are something wrong with them, and it shows up in salivary glands, and it shows up in aches and pains, and the RA shows up in blood tests. Yeah, it shows up. But he's got the same as me, but worse. Yeah. Plus, he's a lot younger than me.
Sorry to hear that.
Well, don't be, because you know what? It got me off the treadmill.
But having said all that, I think Gaia is very, very creative, and I'm sure he is doing his research in nutrition, exercise, stress alleviation. All these things will help, I'm sure.
Yeah, he's more positive than me. He doesn't have the depression problem, but yeah. I'd be reading David Icke books while he's been doing whatever.
Oh, any new ones out?
Well, I've got the last few he did, the reveal, I think. Yeah.
Apparently, he has a book coming out in January. I heard someone saying.
Oh, right. Okay. Oh, I didn't know that. Actually, I've got a fabulous new book by what's her name, Barbara Ehrenreich. You'd like this book. and it's called Going to Extremes. And it's all about the economic climate of America. Because I always thought America was, the land of milk and honey, but it's not, is it?
It is and it isn't.
Well, if you're rich, it is, yes, but not if you're a member of the proletariat. They have it a lot worse than we have it.
Right, I believe
so. I was
so.
quite surprised to read that. Yeah.
And we still vote in the, yeah.
So she talks about, the wealth differences between the rich and the poor. Yeah, nice, but I love her writings. They're very realistic. So what big year is? Yeah.
He's in the chat, but he hasn't come on yet. Which is a shame.
Yes.
So if you are new here, do click on the link and say hello. We're an easygoing bunch, and we do just talk about whatever floats your boat, whatever you want to get off your chest. Cathartic release into the void.
So you don't believe
I'll be right patting your back as you chickpea.
You also don't believe in you don't believe in the invasion of the 200 million either, do you? The 200
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, it says in the Bible.
The drying up of the Euphrates or something. You keep talking about that, yeah.
Yes, it's all to do with the drying up of the Euphrates. An invasion of 200 million will come onto the West.
Yeah, but does it? I doubt it directly says that in the Bible. I doubt it says the number 200 million.
It does. It says 200 million.
I mean, I don't even know if they knew what a million was back in those. I don't even know.
It says 200 million. Yeah, I should stop reading.
Do you know what? You say that, Chickpea, with respect, you're saying that, but we've already established you're wrong about the barcode. So I need you to, if you're going to make these, if you're going to make these outrageous statements, you need to give me the receipts.
I'm only saying what I've read. I did read that.
I know, but you need to send the receipts into the live chat. Show us the sources for all these wild, extravagant claims that you're making, so that we can deduce ourselves whether we believe them or not.
Okay.
That would be much appreciated. Otherwise, forgive me for saying, but we are just perhaps farting into the wind.
Well, yeah, I suppose so.
We need to do a deep dive, a forensic examination of the evidence.
Just saying what it says in the
We can't accept it just because someone said it somewhere else, Chickpea. We have to do our own analysis.
Okay. Right. How's your little Yorkshire little boy?
Yeah, he's very well. He's been for his nighttime poop and pee. He has one tree he pees against, and then we walk on. He makes me walk on another 5, I'd say about 800 meters actually, before he does a poop. And he goes for a poop in a particular place.
Yes.
At nighttime. Yeah.
He's probably laying messages for somebody, for another dog somewhere.
Maybe there's an alien race of canine, creatures that are, he's like you remember that program Mork and Mindy? He's the dog version of Mork.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pooping beside a tree, sending a message to these canine extraterrestrials. They're zooming in. Yeah, he poops in a special direction. Each poop is laid perfectly, a signature symbol that the alien canine species zooms in on with their powerful microscopes, their telescopic fucking machines that are much better than any technology we have. And my dog tells them what is going on and when the takeover is going to happen. It's going to happen when the Euphrates dries over.
And I've never talked about aliens, DNW. Never. I've never talked about aliens.
Right.
Because I'm not, I don't know. Do they exist? I hope not. I find it bad. I find it hard enough to believe in that we exist. Now, mind about another foreign alien somewhere else. Terrifies me. But anyway, Dave's been using the loo. Good little boy. So, like a little gent he is. Told you he poops on the loo now.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I know, good. Yeah, he used to do it at his previous home, just taking him 18 months to adapt to living here, sharing his loo with a female.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he's done it. He's such a lovely cat. He's sleeping on my bed. Gorgeous little boy. I do love
Well,
him.
folks, if nobody comes on in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to end the show. So you've got about 5 minutes if you want to come on, if you want to talk.
Yeah, I wonder where Gear is.
Otherwise, we'll end the show and leave it at that, and that's okay. Because if nothing needs to be said, there's no point in pushing for something.
So do you believe in aliens,
if you are all, I don't know what's going on, Chippy. If you're all completely satisfied and satiated with worldly affairs and nothing is bothering you, there's nothing or nothing excites you, if you're in a state of bliss, if you've reached nirvana, if you've transcended the need to discuss matters, that is absolutely fine. Then my job is done here for the night. So yeah, we have about 3 minutes 28 seconds before I close the show. If nobody clicks on the link in that time, we will end the show. We will terminate the show.
Do you take vitamin pills? I should take my D3s.
Yes.
Yeah, I
do.
take
I take
loads.
vitamins in the morning and I take them after dinner.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have to. We have to maintain the booty.
Yeah, take
You look after the body and the body looks after you, Chickpea.
Yeah. You wish. Mine hasn't looked after me very well, so I've got RA. And I've been taking vitamin pills since I was 20 years old.
I know.
Don't worry, the RA's not a problem.
I understand, like, there are certain diets people have and stuff. Perhaps you've looked into that, and I do hope it works for you. But the medication helps at least?
Yeah, it got out fine. It's been a blessing in a way. In a strange way, it's been a blessing.
You did say that. It's helped you. It's helped you take a break from the rat race and the craziness of existence to think about what is going on. And I'll tell you what is going on. Somebody has just turned up at the very last minute when I was looking forward to leaving, if I'm honest. It is Sage himself who has made sure that the show continues. The show will continue, folks, whether you like it or not, because Sage is here and he's got something pertinent to say about this strange existence that we find ourselves in. Sage is here, Chickpea. Please let Sage talk, Chickpea. You've had your little moment. You've had your little moment. Don't be stealing Sage's thunder, Chickpea. Sage. What have you got to say? What is?
How about the lunacy of human behavior? I recently made a video on my creator channel. First video I've made since I've moved into my new place. I made a video on the digital cargo cult. You know, how the psychology and sociology of how people behave online. Pretty interesting stuff.
That is bloody interesting. Would you care to give us a deep dive into what you said, your views on it? I am muted. Chickpea is muted. Please extrapolate your view, expand it out, and enlighten us.
Well, basically, I made parallels between the cargo cults of World War II and modern social media. Now, the cargo cults of World War II, there were Americans dropping military aid, you know, out of airplanes into remote islands during World War II, you know, where society has never been integrated, you know, these uncontacted tribes would be having these futuristic supplies being dropped, you know, life-saving food dropped out of these metal birds. And once the planes left, once the wars ended, people started building runways out of bamboo, you know, trying to appease the gods to bring more supplies. And I'm seeing a very similar behavior with how people engage with social media, with engaging the algorithm, how so many people think that they can game the system, but they don't understand the system is a living, moving, chaotic machine. It alters our data values or metrics, without our consent, and we think that we can game the system. It's insanity. Yep, wild stuff. Yep, yep, yep. Thoughts? Hello? We having technical problems here or human problems?
No, I was just gone to get a tasty hot beverage, and I thought you'd keep things going smoothly. You did okay. I'll give you a C minus.
Oh
You could
yeah,
do
well
better.
it's
But
a it's a little bit of
you
a
started off well, and I thought, my God, this is a star student. This guy's gonna really go places. And you made an amazing attempt to give the synopsis of your thesis, your hypothetical
lost in the
thought,
manic ADHD. I gotcha.
and then a moment of anxiety derailed you, and unfortunately it's something you're going to have to work on, so you need to stay behind
Oh,
after class
definitely,
and learn to speak off the cuff, impromptu, and you need to polish that up a little
definitely.
bit, polish
Oh yeah,
polish up the
always working
ability
on
to
that.
fill the space with your unbelievably gifted musings, because they are in there. And I do think what you just spoke about was really interesting. It's about the it's about the fact that these cargo cults, which I'd never heard of, were basically going out into the world, dropping off their material goods into cultures that didn't know what they were. And in many ways, they were imposing their culture on others because they thought it was a good thing to do. Is that kind of what you're getting to? And
I think
that,
the context is a little lost because they
oh,
weren't intentionally dropping aid on these uninhabited villages. It was just that they were dropping aid into these remote areas because soldiers were going to these
yeah.
remote areas.
So
And
I see. So they were dropping it
yeah,
off to the soldiers, and then other
yeah.
people
So
were
it was
finding
the
it.
villagers. It was the uninhabited villagers that started the cult. It wasn't the people
Ah,
dropping the stuff out of the
because I'd
planes.
never heard of this. I thought it was a bit of a bizarre story. So, yeah, now I understand what you're saying. Okay, that's really
Yep.
interesting. Now,
Well,
so
yeah.
you could say the Americanization of the internet has, because Americans have made content for other Americans, but it
Yep.
has dripped out into other parts of the world, and maybe sometimes it has had unintended consequences.
Oh yeah. Totally.
Maybe things that Americans were saying, little in jokes, little cultural references, little nuanced ways of saying things and thinking things, have got lost in translation, have meant other things that weren't intended. And maybe that
Yep.
is what is happening on the internet. That is I like that. I like that. And it's something to think about. In fact, I'd invite you to now that I'm on the same page as you, I'd invite you to speak a little bit more about it, please.
Well, here's an
What made you think
interesting.
about this? What made you think
Okay.
about this? And what do you think the effects of it are on society? How is it evidenced? What is happening in relation to this matter?
Hmm. Well, the biggest thing I think is that it's spiritually unhealthy. It keeps us, from making those spiritual strides, those paradigm shifts in our spiritual growth, and we're attaching our ego, and expectations, to and our identity to these ethereal, living, chaotic machines. It's really not a healthy thing to do. It just does not seem like a spiritually healthy thing to do. But beyond that, it's also just psychologically not a good thing to do, because it's going to increase our biases and our ignorance. We're not going to be as aware of our own behaviors and how our behaviors affect others and vice versa. So it's really interesting, because that's actually where I can take this to a sort of a meta point, and that would be the anti-cult YouTubers. There's a whole bunch of channels that do specifically focus on anti-cult stuff. These are how cults manipulate you. These are techniques to avoid these things. All this and that. But they don't understand that they often have these mods and do all this and that, and they have the cult of personality in their little anti-cult channel. And then beyond the anti-cult, the cult of personality, there is sort of that cargo cult behavior that these anti-cult channels are doing, because these anti-cult channels are, again, like our videos, engage in the comment section. I don't care if you're some fundamental Christian and you're some atheist. If you're fighting in the comment section, it's all good for our engagement. Keep it up, and they don't see that they're lost in the fucking trap that they're trying to expose. You're trying to keep people out of a cult, but yet you're starting one. Yep.
Is it perhaps the case, though, that everything in society, in relation to human dynamics, human, politics, human relationships, if you look at the definition of a cult, you could apply it to many things, or if
Oh
not
yeah.
all human relationships. And
Very true.
it's the case that perhaps you have to choose your cult. Like,
Yes.
it's like some cults are bad, some cults are just tribes, and it's a culture. Like, cult
Oh
is
no,
like,
that's where I'm a really big fan of the term ethical cult, because there is such a thing as a
well, a
at least in
tribe.
theory.
I think tribalism is another way of looking at it. Some tribes, seem to be healthier than others.
Yep. Yeah, tribalism takes on its own sort of connotations, its own negative connotations. Like I think you'd need more context with using that word in that context.
Yeah. So, where do you see this going, Sage? And what do you see happening because of this? Have you seen any intersection between what you're talking about and the AI dystopia or utopia, whatever you think is going to happen?
I don't know. That's a whole nother shitstorm. I mean, they overlap, but they're such massive things that currently I don't really feel like I have that much of a grounding, a footing to make claims or assumptions.
Fair enough. Are you positive about the future these days, Sage?
I'm positive about my future. I don't know about everybody else's.
Okay.
Fuck. Crazy,
Tell us a
because
little
that's
bit more
what I'm
about
saying.
the.
It feels like the world is heading toward just becoming one giant reality show. Whether it's politics or this, a cargo cult online. It just seems that we're inching and inching forward toward a reality, and that just seems absolutely insane. The whole world turns into reality show. Where are all the deep thinkers? Where are all the seekers? Where are all the curious people? Where's that catalyst for growth? Well, it just got awful quiet.
Sorry, I was talking. I learned
For
a new
sure.
term today, and it's a little bit of a strange synchronicity that I haven't quite worked out if there are ramifications from it. But anyway, uh, I did a little meditation at the beginning, talking about going within. Basically, that was the
Yep.
kind of major theme: going within to find out what is important for each of us as an individual. And
Good
I
stuff.
was with a friend this evening, and we were just having a conversation as we usually do about all different types of matters. And some random individual came over to us it was a bar I was in, and I don't know why, but he said, I have alexithymia, right?
All right.
Alexithymia or something. I'd never heard of this word. All right. I guessed it was some kind of mental problem. All right. But then he said to me, I said, "What's that?" He said, "When you go within, there's nothing there."
Mm.
Oh, he said that to me, right? And it was a bit
Yep.
freaky because I just made that little meditation about going within. And then some random guy that night says, when you go within, there's nothing there. But he was actually
Mm.
talking about alexithymia. Now, as it happens, he was a very nice individual, very nice guy. And he basically said alexithymia is basically when you don't recognize emotions, you have emotional blindness.
Yeah, your own internal
Um,
sense of your emotions, you can't quite make sense of them.
yeah. And I
Yep.
just thought, wow,
Really
that's,
common in
he said,
autism.
yeah, he said he was autistic. Now, the same guy, honestly, if you saw this dude, he said he was 64. The dude looked, honestly, about 37, 38. I
Mm.
couldn't believe when he said he was 64.
Damn, good genes.
And he didn't even look a bad 37 or 38.
Yep.
So, anyway, he said it's commonly mixed up with sociopathy because they don't have emotional responses like everybody else, and people confuse it for sociopathy, but it's actually not that.
Yeah. No, it's definitely not that.
So I'll read a little bit about it just because it is interesting. I made a new friend, and it would be nice to understand the person, and perhaps it will enlighten others as well. So, alexithymia is also called emotional blindness. It is a neuropsychological phenomenon characterized by significant challenges in recognizing, sourcing, and describing one's emotions. It is associated with difficulties in attachment and interpersonal relations. There is no scientific consensus on its classification as a personality trait, medical symptom, or mental disorder. So there isn't actually a scientific consensus at the moment, anyway. It says here alexithymia occurs in approximately 10% of the population. So 1 in 10 people apparently could have this.
Yep.
Wow, that's
Oh, I
quite
used to have
something.
it really bad when I was a child. I couldn't understand any of
And
my fucking emotions.
it says it often co-occurs with various mental or neurodevelopmental disorders. It says it is present in 50 to 85%. Wow, of individuals with autism
Wow.
spectrum disorder. So 50 to 85%. So basically, most, it seems that half or
Yeah, the
most,
majority.
indeed, people with autism have this other what is termed a disorder.
Yep.
So it says alexithymiacs do not always lack the ability to feel emotions or express them non-verbally. It says here difficulty in recognizing and discussing emotions may manifest at subclinical levels in men who conform to specific cultural norms of masculinity, such as the belief that sadness is a feminine emotion. This
Huh.
condition, known as normative male alexithymia, uh, can be present regardless of sex. Okay, that's
That's
interesting. So it
actually really
can,
fascinating. As a non-binary autistic individual, that's quite interesting. Makes some
that is interesting.
psychological sense. You know,
So
that maybe being
culture,
non-binary when I was a child, in this culture of masculinity might have had some effect on that.
right,
Yep.
right, right. So it says here etymology. The term alexithymia was introduced by psychotherapists John Case Niemeyer and Peter Sifneos in 1970 to describe a particular psychological phenomenon. Its etymology comes from ancient Greek. The word is formed by combining the alpha privative prefix a, meaning not, with lexis referring to words and thymus denoting disposition, feeling, or rage. The term can be likened to dyslexia in its structure. Okay, so no words for one's feelings. No, that's what it literally means in terms of its etymological basis.
Yep.
Yeah, so in a literal sense, alexithymia signifies impermeable to emotions. Those who exhibit alexithymic traits or characteristics are commonly referred to as alexithymics or alexithymiacs. Interesting. Classification. As of 2025, scholars have not reached a consensus about the classification of alexithymia. Okay. It says the DSM-5 and the ICD-11 classify alexithymia as neither a symptom nor a mental disorder. Cognitive, behavioral, and psychoanalytic theorists have proposed conceptualizations, including lists of characteristic signs and symptoms. So it gives here a cognitive behavioral model. The cognitive behavioral model, also known as the attention appraisal model, proposes 3 components. Difficulty identifying one's own feelings. That's number 1. Number 2, difficulty describing one's own feelings. And number 3, externally oriented thinking. So this means one's thoughts are characterized by a tendency to not focus attention on emotions. That's interesting. Now, in terms of the psychoanalytic model suggests 4 components. Okay. It says there's a difficulty identifying one's own feelings, difficulty describing one's own feelings. There is externally oriented thinking, and there's a 4th addition here that is different to the cognitive behavioral model. And the 4th addition is constricted imaginal processes. So this is characterized by infrequent daydreaming. So they don't really daydream. They don't really, sit there imagining things. So constricted imaginal processes, defined as a lack of spontaneous imagining, does not correlate with other components. Such findings have led to ongoing debate in the field about whether IMP is indeed a component of alexithymia. Okay, so IMP is constricted imaginal processes. Yeah. For example, in 2017, Priest and colleagues introduced the attention appraisal model of alexithymia, wherein they suggested that IMP be removed from the definition and that alexithymia be conceptually composed only of difficulty in identifying one's own feelings, difficulty describing one's own feelings, and externally oriented thinking, as each of these 3 are specific to deficits in emotion processing. These core differences in the definition of alexithymia regarding the inclusion or exclusion of IMP correspond to differences between psychoanalytic and cognitive behavioral conceptualizations of alexithymia, whereas psychoanalytic formulations tend to continue to place importance on IMP. Okay, so it goes on and on there. Anyway, so it's most commonly assessed using self-report questionnaires. Right. Signs and symptoms then. Typical deficiencies may include problems identifying, processing, describing, and working with one's own feelings, often marked by a lack of understanding of the feelings of others, difficulty distinguishing between feelings and the bodily sensations of emotional arousal. Confusion of physical sensations often associated with emotions, few dreams or fantasies due to restricted imagination, and concrete, realistic, logical thinking, often to the exclusion of emotional responses to problems. This is interesting. Those who have alexithymia also report very logical and realistic dreams, such as going to the store or eating a meal. Clinical experience suggests it is the structural features of dreams more than the ability to recall them that best characterize alexithymia. Some alexithymic individuals may appear to contradict the above-mentioned characteristics because they can experience chronic dysphoria or manifest outbursts of crying or rage. However, questioning usually reveals that they are quite incapable of describing their feelings or appear confused by questions inquiring about specifics or feelings. Individuals exhibiting alexithymia think in an operative way and may appear to be super adjusted to reality. In psychotherapy, however, a cognitive disturbance becomes apparent as patients tend to recount trivial, chronologically ordered actions, reactions, and events of daily life with monotonous detail. In general, these individuals can, but not always, seem oriented toward things and even treat themselves as robots. These problems seriously limit their responsiveness to psychoanalytic psychotherapy, psychosomatic illness, or substance abuse. Is frequently exacerbated should these individuals enter psychotherapy. Ah.
Huh.
A common misconception about alexithymia is that it affects that the affected individuals are totally unable to express emotions verbally, and that they may even fail to acknowledge that they experience emotions. Even before coining the term, Sifnios noted patients often mentioned things like anxiety or depression. The distinguishing factor was their inability to elaborate beyond a few limited adjectives, such as happy or unhappy, when describing these feelings. The core issue is that people with alexithymia have poorly differentiated emotions, limiting their ability to distinguish and describe them to others. This contributes to the sense of emotional detachment from themselves and difficulty connecting with others, making alexithymia negatively associated with life satisfaction, even when depression and other confounding factors are controlled for. Alexithymia frequently co-occurs with other disorders. Research indicates the alexithymia overlaps with autism spectrum disorders and narcolepsy. That's interesting. Narcolepsy is when you fall asleep, isn't it?
Yeah, that's when it's unintendedly falling asleep.
Yeah. Okay.
Chronic
In
fatigue
a
and unintendedly falling asleep. Yeah.
in a 2004 study, 85% of adults with ASD fell into the impaired category, and almost half fell into the severely impaired category. In contrast, among the adult control population, only 17% were impaired, and none were severely impaired. Okay. Like alexithymia, Asperger's syndrome is also characterized by core disturbances in speech and language and social relationships. Note that Asperger's syndrome has been merged with other conditions into autism spectrum disorder and is no longer a diagnosis in the World Health Organization's ICD-11. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Alexithymic traits in AS, so that's autistic spectrum disorder, may be linked to clinical depression or anxiety. The mediating factors are unknown, and it is possible that alexithymia predisposes to anxiety. On the other hand, while the total alexithymia score, as well as the difficulty in identifying feelings and externally oriented thinking factors, are found to be significantly associated with attention deficit hyperactive disorder. That's interesting. So, on the other hand, while the total alexithymia score, as well as the difficulty in identifying feelings and externally oriented thinking factors, are found to be significantly associated with ADHD. And while the total alexithymia score, the difficulty in identifying feelings and the difficulty in describing feelings factors are also significantly associated with symptoms of hyperactivity and impulsivity. There is no significant relationship between alexithymia and inattentiveness. So yeah. Anyway, there's a lot
That's
more,
fascinating.
but I'll leave it there for now.
You just gave me my next deep dive to get into. I thank you for
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I think it's something to think about. And Perpetual Pleasurist is here. Wonderful. He says, Perpetual Pleasurist says he has no relatability to alexithymia. He says he actually gets really pissed off by people who display the symptoms of it. He clashes with them very badly. And he says they're like fucking aliens to him. Yeah. I was talking about it, PP, because I met a guy tonight who told me he had it. He was actually a very nice fellow. He was a really, really charming guy. There you go. So you wouldn't expect that. But clearly, I think there is, from what I've read there, it seems that they have emotions. They're just not able to talk about them, recognize them. So, I suppose they can be good-natured, kind-hearted individuals who love, care, etc., etc. But
Oh
they're just not
yeah.
able to. They're not able to
You could be an
recognize it or
empath
talk about it.
with
Yeah,
alexithymia.
well,
If you're an
exactly,
empath with
exactly, exactly,
alexithymia, yeah, yeah,
exactly. That's what I'm getting from this. It's just they
yep,
don't intellectualize it. They don't think about it. They don't talk about it.
yep. Well, I think there's a cultural element as at play as well. That's what fascinates me.
Yeah, 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 and I can see that as maybe being trauma based somehow, or as it could be that they are highly intellectual individuals who somehow feel pigeonholed into a state of being that isn't good. They
I
they,
don't
they
even
don't
think it's all
agree.
trauma based. I think it could be like ignorance based. My first thought is, since the reduction of art literacy around the world, the past few
Yeah,
decades, that we've seen an increase in alexithymia. That would be an interesting thing to look into.
right. So
Because
anyway,
obviously, when
if
you're being
anybody
taught art
wants to
literacy,
come on,
you're
the
being
link is in
taught these
chat.
things.
If you want to come on, the link is in chat. I think I will end the show probably in about 10 minutes or so, but you'll get to say something at least. And you are most welcome to come on and talk. And obviously, if you want to, you can chat backstage afterwards, after the show ends. But Sage, anything you'd like to say now? I'll hand the mic to you.
Oh, just I think that's really fascinating. There's things to do with the 5-HT1A receptor, which is actually the receptor that has to do with psychedelics. So, maybe psychedelics might play a role in treatment. Yeah, there's lots of interesting things regarding this. So this is where it's interesting being a polymath and somebody that actually was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome as a child, because I'm able to think about the psychological impacts I've experienced personally, and but I'm also able to think about the exterior, the cultural element, and how the culture might be affecting certain things.
Fair enough. We have Mr. Perpetual Pleasurist himself, the one and only. Mr. Perpetual Pleasurist, what is it you'd like to say?
Well, this topic's very interesting. I'm definitely gonna look more into it myself. But man, as you were describing that, the stuff you were reading off, I was like, holy shit! I've run into a lot of these people. My run-ins with people who have exactly that description have been nothing but negative ones and just overall miserable ones. At a certain threshold, here's the key: as soon as you call them out on some aspect of bullshit, they dig their heels in like it's nobody's motherfucking business because they're incapable of recognizing, no matter how clear you make it, what they've done that's fucked up or asinine or whatever, they can't recognize how it's asinine, no matter what. And basically, it just put it together like a puzzle piece for me. A lot of these people I've run into, and I've seen it a lot within the autism spectrum world. I've classified two groups, like there's the bad autism spectrum type and then the good type. The bad type have exactly those symptoms you just described, at least in
Yeah,
what
I
I've
mean,
run
we'll be
into.
careful. We'll be careful. I mean, we've got to be careful with our language. I know. You're talking anecdotally, but let's
Yeah.
not call anyone bad. Let's try and be empathetic, because it's not their fault, brother. You know what I mean? And it must be very hard. Some of them do have depression and stuff. So, I mean, I can't imagine living like that for your whole life, not understanding your emotions, not being able to talk about them. That must be very difficult indeed. Although that guy tonight said he's quite happy being alone, because he said that his dad was very old and he was about to die almost. He was that old, but he still wanted a fourth wife. And he said to his dad, why do you need a fourth wife? You're about to croak it. And his dad said, because I am lonely. And he thought that was really quite like amazing. He just couldn't understand it, because he
Mm,
said he never feels alone. He never feels lonely. There you go.
mm,
Well,
hmm.
the lack of loneliness, that that's good to not feel lonely, but you need to be able to understand why others feel lonely, though. That's the difference. That's the
Yeah,
difference
for
between
Yeah.
reals.
alexithymic and one who
If
isn't
you can't
alexithymic.
understand that somebody's dealing with the problem of death and that's why their emotions might be heightened, you're gonna inevitably run into some problems for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Guys, I'm gonna leave you guys chatting for about 20 minutes because I'm gonna get ready. I have to get ready for tomorrow. But because PP's here, and I'm always a fan of PP, Perpetual Pleasurist, it'll be good to hear you guys talk back and forth, you know. But be kind, guys, be kind. As I said, talk you can talk about the problem, not like try not to dehumanize people. But I know you're good guys anyway, so thank you very much, guys. I'm gonna leave you two chatting for a bit, yeah. I'll be back in a bit.
For sure.
Yeah, so to clarify, when I say bad, what I was talking about and what I mean when I say that, obviously, is I'm talking about someone who they may not themselves be an evil minded person in the sense of wanting to wish harm for others. Rarely have I ever seen that. What I've seen in the autism spectrum fold has been specifically this, though. It's their incapability of recognizing certain things that if they have those alexithymic traits that drives everybody else mad. It's not that they themselves necessarily are nefarious people. A lot of times they're actually very kind people. But what drives me and everybody else nuts having to interact with them is what I found is no matter how much I explain to them in vivid detail exactly what they said, did, etc., and how and why it hurt someone else's emotions, and get them to help understand, put themselves in someone else's shoes aside from their own, they just can't fucking do it. Like
Right?
it's this bizarre standoff that it ends up getting to, and I'm like, hey, I've also got logic and reason as well, but I can still put myself in other shoes that I'm not in, right? I can like
Right?
look at something from not my own perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I noticed for them when they get called out on some disagreement or whatever, they're just locked into this mode. They
Yep.
it's like talking
It's the
to a
negative
fucking
feedback
pillar.
loop. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
The
like a
negative
negative
feedback
feedback
loop.
loop.
Yeah.
And it's like
That's
you can't
where
fucking get across
they're
to them.
not bad people. It's the negative feedback loop that is making them intolerable to the rest of us.
Yes, exactly. That's it.
No,
That's
I get
precisely
that.
it.
No, I get
And
that completely because that's actually the way I see a lot of neurotypicals post COVID acting. You know,
yes,
post COVID neurotypicals and neurodivergent people. There is a very hard time seeing the difference.
yes, they're actually very similar. It seems to be a much common trend, or I should say a growing common trend, just like many other weird mental conditions and stuff. But I've like so for me it's a very hard line that I notice it very quickly. Like over the years I've met people on the autism spectrum. I'm also diagnosed on that spectrum, but I've met two types. I've met types that are they're highly in tune with their emotions, highly empathetic to others' feelings, usually to the extreme too much to where it exhausts them, like it does me, to where they have to, recharge a lot from that stuff
Yep.
because they're bombarded with emotions and feelings all the time
Oh
and know
yeah,
exactly why.
overstimulation for
Yeah,
reals. I
overstimulation.
get
But then
it.
there's the other type that are that like pillar stoned, like tuned out from everybody emotions type. They're like just it's a totally different version. There's like two totally different versions, and it's really interesting to me that it's like once I see it, I was like, oh, it's that type. Okay, I'm never going to
Yep.
interact with this person again. And it's like right then and there, it's like, oh, this person has, and that's I guess what it's called, alexithymia. I just didn't have a name for it until now, but I
Mm.
would chalk it up to basically, oh, that person is a not very self-aware autism spectrum type person. And
Yep.
so now that there's a scientific term for it, that's alexithymia, I guess is what it's called in in that
The
sense.
medical literature,
The
yeah.
medical literature, it's called that. What I was calling in previously lack of self-awareness. It's like if they're self-aware, it's self-aware within this framework of disconnectedness completely from
Yep.
others' emotions, like entirely. So they might be aware, but it's like aware in a way that they're missing a piece
Oh no,
somehow.
I know what you're saying.
You know.
I feel you. It's like they're in the Plato's cave, but they haven't realized that the Plato's cave is, the Russian nesting dolls. It's infinite, like
Right.
that kind of
They
thing.
they haven't seen the other layers to what's going on. They
Yep.
basically just cap off at, logic and reason, cold processing of things, and how they personally are feeling or whatever. And that's it. That's the cap. Boom. And
It
it
actually
like doesn't
reminds
go
me of
beyond that.
Ken Wilber's integral theory. I don't know if you're familiar with him or circular dynamics or spiral dynamics.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
I'm not a. Oh, you said okay. Ken, what was the name? Ken what?
Ken Wilber.
Ken Wilbur.
Ken
I'll remember.
Wilber, he updated the spiral dynamics and updated the system into a integral dynamics, and
Ah,
it's all about the spirals and evolutions of consciousness, of our
interesting.
society. How there's certain people stuck in like the red zone, tribalistic or mythic. Other people are in these other zones of consciousness.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
And that. So I guess the accurate way to word it would be, uh, instead of using the word bad, would be people who display those symptoms tend to lead to, in every case I've seen, basically what happens goes like this. They tend to be, from what I've seen, very nice, overall friendly people until there's some interpersonal conflict, some interpersonal disagreement, or something they have to be called out on that's unkind or whatever it is. And as
Yep.
soon as that happens, once that threshold is passed, then and there, that's when you see the alexithymia and it comes out, because that's when they dig their heels in without even thinking or realizing or believing they're digging their heels in the wrong way for the wrong reason. And I have very specific examples of it, but the the thing is, it's like, to the rest of us, whatever's actually going on in them, it because they behave that way, it makes the situations when there's some interpersonal disagreement with them extra miserable. Because
Mm.
unlike other people where you can talk things through and actually work it out and get other people to understand where they made a mistake or were fucked up or mean or whatever it is, they literally have in their head that unless they personally feel like they did or said something wrong or unkind, it doesn't matter how vividly you explain it from anyone else's perspective, they will never, ever, ever be able to see it from the other's perspective, not even really hypothetically. So it's like this weird, how do you describe it? Like, for example, I had this talking exchange, and then what shifted into a text exchange with this one guy who was living with me, and he spilled this coffee on my PlayStation 4 when I wasn't here. He was the only person here. When I got back, I called him out. I was like, hey, because the stuff was still wet on the bottom of the PS4, right?
Jeez.
Nobody else was here, so it's like,
Yep.
okay, obviously he did it. And he was just constantly denying and deny that he did it. And I was like, dude, literally the only type of response that would be fitting for someone who cares about me or as a friend is the response of, hey, even if you're sure you didn't do it in some weird way, a response of an actual friend who cares about someone else is going to be like, hey, even though I'm certain I didn't do that, I'm willing to. This is what I would say if I
Yep.
was, the one called out and I was certain I didn't do something. Hey, I'll make a point to cover the cost of a new PlayStation 4 if there's any issues or stuff with it. Uh, I'm sorry that's fucked up that happened, and I will make sure to help fix whatever issues happened from that going forward. In other words, I would offer to financially compensate to cover a new one if something were to actually happen to the system from it. I would make sure of that, basically, and say I will make especially sure not to put drinks there going forward, even if I was adamant that I wasn't the one that spilled, right? That's what a friend who cares about a friend who's letting them live there for free would do, right? But
Yeah.
because he
Uh,
probably has this alexithymia, he just was locked in this, and he was thinking it was about the spill itself. And I kept telling him, no, it's not about the spill
you should
itself.
have made it about time, cause and effect. Maybe that would have gotten it
Well,
into
the
his
thing
head,
is, I tried all these other angles, but the whole thing was because the whole thing wasn't about the spill. The spill was just something that happened.
Hmm.
It was his behavior related to it that showed he lacked a significant degree of care for me as a person. And but in
Yep.
his mind, that was like a non-factor. It's like he was tunnel visioned in on whether he spilled it or not. But the other weird part was there might be some weird like brain memory blank out thing or something going on, because it's 100% certain he's the one that spilled it, unless there was some ghost phantom that spilled coffee on it or something. Because it was the coffee that only he drank, and nobody else drank that. The flavor and
Yep.
all the smell and everything.
Ah, okay.
So, and the cup ring that he was using. So it's like all the evidence was there that
Yeah,
nobody
yeah.
else
No,
could have
I
done
got
it.
it. Yep.
And he just still was there. His heels were dug in on that. And he did the same thing with my other friend who housed him for free afterwards. Same
Oh,
exact similar
geez.
pattern. in other ways, but it was
Yep.
like the same thing. He just dug his heels in, tunnel visioned, ignoring or not capable of processing what the other person was saying. He's like, hey, it's not
Yep.
about this, it's about this. It's the way you behave and respond about these things. It's not the thing itself. It's that you dig your
I,
heels in and get more adamant when this when this stuff comes
I
up.
think if you used nonviolent communication and made it about the time, cause, and effect aspect, you might have had a little bit more luck. I mean, not to say that it would have worked by any means, but that's the nuance and our energies and our egos and how we communicate. It's crazy.
Well, the thing is, I was unbelievably calm, and I went at it from every angle I could think of to get across to him what I was actually trying to get across, and it just, I was like, damn, and I chalked it up to, man, this guy must be really fucking dumb, like low as fuck IQ if he can't grasp this. But now that I'm hearing about this alexithymia thing, I'm like, it might have fucking been that, not low
Yeah.
IQ. It might have been that
Yeah.
fucking thing. Like his brain is just not, it just isn't registering certain things I'm saying to
Yep.
him. Like it's like it doesn't matter what I say. It's like that part of his brain is like blank related to everything I'm talking about
It's all about
outside
the fucking
of
feedback back loops, man. It reminds me of the double empathy problem. Do you know what that is?
what was the double empathy problem. Refresh my memory.
The double empathy problem has to do with autism and neurotypicals. It
Okay.
says it was coined in 2002 by Damian Milton, an autism researcher. The theory proposes that many of the difficulties autistic individuals face when socializing with non-autistic individuals are in due part of a lack of mutual understanding between the two groups, and that leads to a disconnect in being able to understand and process empathy with non-autistic people, whereas with man, I just got confused, spun around there. But anyway, what I was getting at with it that was interesting about the feedback loop with the I've noticed with the double empathy problem, that it might not even be written down anywhere, but I've noticed that when you teach, when some kid is diagnosed autistic, the parents raise them as autistic, that reinforces the autism behaviors.
Hmm.
And
Interesting.
it's these kinds of feedback loops, and people are never talking about these feedback loops, because that's where once I found a way to break that fucking feedback loop, I literally test as neurotypical now, and
Hmm.
it's fucking hilarious. I literally say I have Schrodinger's autism.
Hmm. What's the
Because
difference between
fuck.
Schrodinger's? What's the difference between Schrodinger's and other types of autism?
Well, Schrodinger. Schrodinger is referring to the Schrodinger's box, which is the
Oh,
whole,
okay.
the cat in the box with the poison. It's both dead and alive until you open it and discover its, quantum unfolding state. You
Oh,
know,
I see. Okay.
that's what I literally say. I have Schrodinger's autism. Like someday I may be
Sorry.
autistic, someday I might be neurotypical. Like depends on the day, depends on the mood, like all these different fucking factors.
Well, it sounds to me like it sounds to me like that issue is more describing the alexithymia factor, which is a higher ratio in a lot of autism's people versus autism and neurotypicals. Because what I've seen personally is that alexithymia factor is the thing, like almost capital THE, that seems to cause the clash and non-relatability in certain autism spectrum people and neurotypicals. Whereas, like in my case, because I don't have that specifically, I just simply need like physiological recharge time, and for me, it's just a non-relatability to how neurotypicals tend to process situations and my thing is I look too far too many layers into everything that goes on, and I have to like pull myself out of looking so many layers into things, whereas but
Oh,
I'm
don't
aware
pull
of.
yourself back out, bro. You went and dived deep, man. Enjoy the fucking sea.
Well, what I'm saying
Enjoy
is,
the fishes.
let's put
Enjoy
it
the
this way, I
view.
have to, yes, I have to mimic as if I pulled myself out, and I have to
Oh,
basically
okay.
tune
That's
myself out of what I'm
much
aware
more
of more.
understanding. I get where you're
So
coming from with that.
so basically it's like an artificial tune-out process, which most neurotypicals don't have to do, but in my case it's never a lack of understanding where others are coming from ever. It's just not relating to where they're coming from in so many cases. It's
Mm.
like I can understand 100% intellectually like where they're coming from and why, but my brain processes it as, hey, but that's, they're doing that because they're not thinking or feeling it, enough layers into it, basically, is
Mm.
why. And that's where how my brain processes so many situations like that. But it's never a lack of understanding where they're coming from. It's always just not relating to where they're coming from. And so it's like this so I can have thoroughly good conversations with neurotypicals and help them a lot in very therapeutic ways, friends, whatever, even though I'm not a fan of being in that role per se. It's just kind of automatically happens. It's I noticed with the alexithymic ones, it's totally the opposite. They can't do any of that. Like they don't function in very good therapeutic roles. They don't. It's just always this weird standoffish thing with them and neurotypicals, where
right?
there's like no good communication that ever gets anywhere. It's just like this standstill that never changes. Um, and I've seen it many times in many people I've met over the years who are also diagnosed on the autism spectrum. So I'm going to look into that as well. Like you said, you would more because I'm very intrigued by this now tonight. Now that there's a name for what I've been seeing a lot in people I've interacted with. God, it's just for me, it's so difficult to deal with, just like with unregulated bipolar folks, because it's
Mm.
like it's the alexithymia stuff is so opposite of the spectrum of what how I operate and how I relate to the world and reality that it's like yeah, it's for me it's like talking to a fucking alien being like because and same with unregulated bipolar folks. Like when they have their episodes and shit. Oh my
You
god, I
just
clash so
gotta
bad with them.
think about the last time you were fucking sick as shit, and you couldn't quite make sense of your bodily signals. Oh, I have the flu, and I'm fucking all fucking feverish, and I can't tell if I need to fucking hydrate and get cold, or if I need to fucking drink hot tea and get warm. Like, it's a
Yeah,
very similar thing with the emotions. When you can't
mm,
understand your own emotions, it's being lost in a fucking storm in your own head. And it's
I
very
see.
similar to when you're sick. It's a
Yeah,
different kind of thing. It's mental instead of physical, but that vibe you get is very similar.
I see. And you said you experienced it when you were younger,
Oh yeah,
somewhat.
big time when I
Uh-huh.
was
Big
younger.
time. Gotcha.
I got
What was it that pulled you out of it? Do you think, in terms of like it not being a factor as much anymore?
Oh, finding my faith became a paradigm shift in everything. I found my trans-dualistic, trans-theistic faith, and just rose above all the categories and started seeing the insanity. When I found my faith, all of a sudden, that's when I discovered, wait a minute, I was diagnosed with Asperger's. 2 weeks ago, I did this diagnostic test. I was just to the left of the side of neurotypical, just on the side of neurodiverse, and 2 weeks later, now I'm just on the side of neurotypical, and all these massive paradigm altering shifts were taking place in my neuroarchitecture. I can tell that literally the neurons in my brain have radically, completely fundamentally reconfigured themselves. So
Interesting.
it's fascinating because
Yeah, it's
that's where
cool.
I'm getting all into how everything affects our genes and our neurons and our neurochemistry, like, and
Yeah,
that's where I'm like, fuck, man, like, people once upon a time, everyone even thought that fucking therapy was some bullshit and stuff, and and we
yeah,
still have
mhm,
that. A lot of these fucking masculine liberals will be, oh no, therapy's a fucking crock, and stuff, and yeah, I
right.
think that there is a lot of therapy that has problems, and a lot of it, yeah, there's snake oil, yeah, there's unethical shit, but at the same time, there is some value in this being a thing in reality,
Right.
so
Mhm.
it's fucking crazy.
Interesting, man. Wow, I'm glad you were helped by that, and you were able to have a
Oh, it
better
changed my
experience of
entire
life.
fucking life.
That's
Because
great, man.
I used to
That's
be
really
such a
neat.
negative person, literally
Yeah.
everything in life I hated. And now I
Wow.
got to a spot where I love everything in life, but I also hate everything in life. I can have both at the same time. You
Yeah.
know, as an empath, I could be going fucking insane about all these wars and deaths and torture and evil shit. But holding true to my faith, I can go, what? This might be set up this way for a fucking reason. And just because I haven't figured out, and maybe I never will, doesn't mean there isn't a reason.
I see. Interesting. Well, I will. I'll talk to you soon. It was good talking to you briefly, and
For sure.
wish you the best, man. Have a good one.
For sure. You too.